and welcome to the Nonsense Gaming Podcast, the podcast where we chill and talk about gaming and nerd culture from the casual's perspective, of course. We're happy to have you here as we just explore our topic for today, Pokemon. Tonight we have a special guest joining us to discuss Pokemon. He knows much more than any of us. Please welcome John.
Hi there.
And as always, we've got our hosts. I'm Kitty.
I'm Uni.
And I'm Roxy. Let's go, boys. All right. Let me give you a rundown of what we have in store tonight. We will begin with our discussion with a rundown of the new Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC. Then we're going to hop into an entrancing game of Guess That Pokemon. After, we will take a deep dive into our love of Pokemon. And finally, we will close out the night by ranking the Pokemon types.
I'm surprised we're not just lugging Pokemon the whole episode.
Okay, you know what?
Okay, so before we dive into it, let's get to know our guest a little bit. John, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with Pokemon?
Well, my very first game was, I think, Fire Red back when I was 8 or 9 years old. It was years and years ago. I just remember not knowing how to save or catch Pokemon or even progress at all through the story when I first played. But I fell in love with it, and I played it for a long, long time and kind of, went on a bit of a hiatus. And back in 2014, when X and Y was coming out, I just remember everybody having a 3DS and everything like that, and I just never got around to buying one. But I was watching my brother play one day. I'm like, this looks fun. This looks nice. So I decided to get into it, and I really started getting into like the competitive side of it compared to just, finishing the game and calling it done, And that was in, 2014. And I've been hooked ever since. Played a little bit of TCG here and there too, and I watched the anime here and there, but most of it's in the video game side of things.
That's awesome. So I think we'll start off with our current events segment.
So some of the newer stuff coming out right now is like Sword and Shield got a DLC back in the, I think it was the spring, might have been June, but sometime this year. And people, it's just gotten mixed reviews because a lot of the people are still on the whole Pokedex gate thing where not every Pokemon's included in Sword and Shield. Mm-hmm. But the new DLC brought back a bunch of fan favorite Pokemon. If I can just think of them off the top of my head here, I can think the Volcarona, Chansey, Talonflame, Amoonguss, and those last two there are really important to the VGC scene right now. And there's a lot of new moves too that are bringing a lot of more Pokemon into relevance, like Expanding Force, which is making a lot of Psychic types very viable in the meta, and Flip Turn, which is a great U-turn style move, but for water types that it has way less distribution than U-turn, but it's very helpful for a lot of Pokemon in the meta. There's some new features in it, like Following Pokemon, I think, is back. I haven't really played it all that much lately, but I think Following Pokemon is back. And they've introduced a few new Pokemon as well, some more Galarian form, like Galarian Slowbro. And they've also brought in Urshifu, which people thought would be super, super broken, but it's strong, but I don't think it's super broken. Yeah, so
I love how you're listing all of these things, and I am someone who has no experience with
Honestly, I'm impressed that you've managed to avoid Pokemon for this long.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I don't know. It's worse than anime because I just never got it at all. And,
hey, are you implying anime is bad, Caitlin?
I am not implying that at all. I'm implying that my level of knowledge of Pokemon is even less than anime episodes.
You played a bit of Pokemon Go, I think.
Like for probably a day, and then I realized it killed my battery and was like, yeah. Don't.
Did anyone else buy like a portable battery specifically to play Pokemon Go?
Yes.
Like,
Yes,
like everyone I knew did.
It just like drained the life from your phone.
Yeah, it really did. My phone was already bad, and it just made it even worse.
Yeah, throwback to those nights out in downtown where everyone's just conglomerating in hordes and somebody else Charizard. It's just a stampede of people running after things.
I'll never forget, there's like two parks right near my house, and I was like in walking distance of both. that had Pokestops. It was really nice. But I remember, like, it was, like, probably, like, 12, at night, and someone lured the Pokestop near my house, and I went up to, like, get the Pokemon, right? And, like, it was just funny, because I just saw, like, a bunch of other people, like, lurking around the park behind their houses, and I was like, oh my gosh.
God.
It was really crazy.
It was.
That sounds like a kidnapping waiting
Yeah.
to happen.
Especially because they use the term lure. Like,
Yeah,
in my lure.
that's what it's called though. Yeah, it's so bad. Yeah, I've definitely done the same thing at like, because I'm always up till like what 4 or 5 a.m. So like I was awake and I checked my Pokemon Go and I was like, oh my god, new Pokemon. So I like walked out of my house. I snuck out at like 5 a.m. I went to catch the Pokemon. Saw a bunch of people and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get kidnapped. I caught the Pokemon, ran home. And I was like, I got it. It was worth it. I don't remember what it was anymore, but I don't think it was worth it. I don't think it was worth it.
I just remember right around when it first came out. I think it was first year of university for me, and I was at a friend's house just with some exchange students that I met while I was at university, right? And I just remember seeing Venusaur popping up on the Poke Radar back when that was like you know, they hadn't taken that down with some cease and desist stuff. But what you could do is it would tell you exactly where Pokemon would spawn. And I saw a Venusaur spawn in the alleyway by my friend's house. I busted out that door so quickly that I broke the door. Like I tore the door off its hinges. Like, and we spent the night trying to fix her door.
I just remember all of those.
I did catch the Venusaur. I did.
All this nothing. Gosh.
Oh man, I just remember seeing all those signs. Like, please, if you're playing Pokemon, don't come near here. Please don't trespass for Pokemon. Like, I was just like, oh, all right. It's a bigger thing than I ever got into it. But yeah, circling back, that's the one day was the only experience I had with Pokemon.
One day.
So this is going to be a great learning day. I apologize for when I pronounce all the Pokemon names wrong.
No, we
You know,
believe in
like
you.
everyone's gonna pronounce some of them wrong. So like, there's 3 different ways to pronounce Arceus or Arceus, Arceus.
Oh,
There's
It's definitely Arceus, right?
I call it Arceus.
Well, like-
I don't know.
the thing is with it is like it's got 3 canon ways to pronounce it. They pronounce it one way in the anime. There's a Pokedex thing that was released by Pokemon Company that had another pronunciation, and I think one of the, I don't know if it was the developers or something, pronounced it a different way. But there's 3 or 4 canon ways to pronounce Arceus or Arceus or Arceus, whatever you want to call it.
Gosh. Consistency, love it.
Man,
Yep.
it's great. Well, that's a good kind of point for let's call it an opportunity to make fun of my pronunciation as we go into our game here for tonight,
Yeah.
which is going to force me to try and pronounce some of these guys.
Alright,
So the
fire it
game
up.
that we have in store tonight is called Guess That Pokemon. So what we have here is we have 3 flavor text from the I believe what were the cards. And I'll read it out, and then you got 3 options, and we'll see
Gotcha.
who can guess that Pokemon.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
based on the flavor text.
All right, we'll try. I bet you I'm going to be horrible at this. I haven't read flavor text for a card in so long.
Yeah, you will find out. All right, so question 1. Here's your flavor text. It grows angry if you see its eyes, and gets angrier if you run. If you beat it, it gets even madder. Okay. Got that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, do we have multiple choice?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Thank God.
So is it
I'm trying to
A,
think what that is.
primate,
Bro.
B,
Oh.
Alomomola, or
Lovely.
C, Yuxi?
right? I feel like it's primate
Yeah, it's gotta be primate.
because like Yuxi's asleep and Alola Mola
Yeah,
is
it's
a
a
fucking
fish. Yeah,
is a fish.
Yeah,
Is a fish.
it's a fish. There's no way.
You don't think a fish can be mad?
Well, like I
It's a
know
very
what
chill
it is.
fish.
Yeah,
Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
Looks like a very chill fish.
fish.
I'm gonna guess primate. Primate.
Yeah, like it has to be. Yeah, like it has to be primate.
Okay,
100%.
good. You guys know a lot about Pokemon because yes, that is the correct answer.
Like if it was anything else, I was gonna be very shocked.
Yeah.
I have to be perfectly honest. All the options given were just random Pokemon besides the correct answer.
It's okay.
So I
All right,
have no
so-
idea if maybe it's too easy or not.
We'll try our best.
It's okay. We'll see. We'll see.
All right. So moving on to the second question here. All right, everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. They live buried in the sands of the desert. The sun-warmed sands prevent their body temperatures from dropping.
Is this Sunfisk?
Okay.
Is it A, Espeon, B, Sandile, C,
Yeah, I figured that
Azelf?
was. Yeah,
It
that's
has to
definitely
be
Sandile.
Yeah.
Like the first thing that came to my head was Crocodile
Yeah,
or
I thought it was
Crocorock.
like
Yeah, no, it's just like
I thought it was that big crocodile, but you chose the baby version.
yeah.
Because like the
It's
first,
baby
first
Sandile.
option was like, what was the first option?
Espeon?
Oh yeah, that's like
Espeon's
Eevee evolution
pink-
sidekick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last one's like another legendary. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's like that sleepy one, but with its eyes
Yeah,
open, and way
its
better than
eyes open.
Pokemon.
It's the blue one, right? I think it's the blue one.
yeah, it's Azelf's the blue one.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Sandile.
Yeah,
wait.
I agree with you this there.
Idea. For the last one, we should just have to guess cold.
Yeah,
Oh,
all right,
God.
fire it up.
All
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Hot
I
take,
love how
let's
you
do
all are
it.
so confident. I haven't even told you the answer yet.
That's because it's Sandile. There's literally nothing else. It's Sandile.
Watch us be wrong.
No, you're not wrong. Of course not. This is Sandile. Yeah, sure. If you guys wanted to try and do
Oh,
the last one
goodness.
cold, if we get too much time spent thinking, I'll give you all the options.
Okay.
yeah.
We'll
Let's
see.
test the skills
Yeah,
a little
we'll
bit here.
see.
Oh, flex.
The game's not challenging enough. Okay, here's your flavor text for question 3. All right. Discovered in ancient ruins, it moves by spinning around and forms a group when it finds others.
Magma? Oh, like
Is that unknown?
I was gonna say the little magma.
Oh my God,
What are they
yeah.
called? The little magnet guys, like the ones
Yeah,
that look
the
like they have,
unknown?
like 2 little. No, not
Wait.
unknown. Like the they're called like magnet guys.
Oh, like the Meltons, the little Melton, the new ones from Sun Moon.
No, like the really old ones. Like they were just like basically just looked like they had 2 magnets on either side.
Yeah,
and
like
it's, a
Magnemite.
ball.
Like a Magnemite.
Oh wait,
I don't think it's
Magnemite?
Magnemite.
Oh, Magnemite.
I don't think it's
Yeah,
Magnemite. By
it is.
spinning?
Yeah,
Like-
it could spin.
I think it's unknown. I have a feeling it's unknown.
You know what it might be? The
Like-
what are they called? Like turny tops or whatever they're called. Like the ones that are brown and then they have like they shift
Hitmontops?
their heads.
No.
Yeah.
It can't be. She said ancient ruins. That's what gives it away. I think it's unknown. I'm pretty
ancient
sure.
runes is
I think it's
definitely
unknown.
thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess unknown.
I think so,
Wait,
but
so
like,
what's everybody's guess?
Unknown.
yeah, I think it
fine.
also is.
Wait, but Roxy, do you have a different answer?
Yeah, I think it's the top guys.
What's the name?
Hitmontop. It's not Hitmontop. It's not
Are you
Hitmontop.
talking about Baltoy or Magnemite? Or which one?
Or it's the magnet ones, but I think it's the top guy. 'Cause he spins.
Okay. Is it the top guy that's like got pink on him, or the one with the blue like
No, the blue.
singlet? No, that's Hitmontop. Okay,
Yeah.
Baltoy I think is the only other option.
Yeah, that's the
it might
only other-
be
yeah.
Baltoy, but I'm gonna guess unknown.
Because she said
Okay.
forms in groups, and I don't think Baltoys go into groups.
Okay, Eunice, this is big brain. Okay, I'll guess unknown. You guess Baltoy, and then one way or the other, we're gonna get it right.
Okay, we have all 3 guesses here, Kitty. There
Yeah.
you go.
So
Okay. So come on, give me your guesses.
okay, I'll get. Okay, you wait, Eunice. How about you guess unknown? I'll guess Baltoy.
Okay, sure, I don't care. Whichever.
I guess Baltoy. She guesses unknown.
And then Roxy will.
Hitman top.
Yeah.
Final answer.
Okay.
Final answer.
Man, I feel like John's just playing the game because he was all about unknown, and then like he's suddenly switching at the end. Why are we switching at the end here, John?
Well, because like unknown is the more obvious answer, so like it's a higher chance that unknown is right, I think. But that being said, like I don't want to be, the dick and to be like, hey, I want the right answer and you get like the long shot answer, right?
You really think I'm that clever enough to be like, oh, this is the obvious answer, it's not gonna be it. Like
I'll take what
we're playing the system. We're playing the system. This is a team effort. We're not keeping score.
Team effort.
Well, it's ball toy.
Yeah, this is
W.
Those were the first two that came in my mind. Unknown and Baltoy, just because of the word ancient ruins. I was like, all right, in there. So
you're like
too.
Roxanne's so dead set on him on top, just like they were wrestling in ancient ruins like 2,000 years ago. They're doing Brazilian capoeira or whatever it's called, and they're
but they're spinny.
Yes, okay, there's a lot of spinny things. Dude, Voltorb spins and it's a ball.
Don't at me.
It's beautiful.
See, congratulations, Eunice. Team effort.
Yes, look at this. We all won.
We all win. Don't worry, Roxanne. It's a collective victory because we gave 3 answers.
Yeah, we all shared the answers.
There's gotta be one freeloader of the bunch.
Yeah, we covered all the bases.
We gotta make this one of the 3. That was beautiful. Beautiful game, Kitty.
I'm hearing the thanks, but I'm also like, you guys tried to make my game harder. That's the mark of a bad game.
It was the thought that counts. Like you put in the effort. You don't know anything about Pokemon, and you tried your best.
No, they all sound like gibberish words to me. Yeah. You guys are having intense discussion. Clearly, it means something to you guys. But I'm just here like, okay.
Think about how hard this game would be with like Magic the Gathering. It'd be almost impossible to just have a flavor text. Like, could you imagine if I give you flavor text? Like right now, I'm gonna give you flavor text off a card.
Oh God! Oh my!
And tell me if you know what it is.
Card.
Yeah. This one's
we're just
stupid
waiting.
flavor text.
We're waiting. We're ready to go.
Any day now.
There is no shame in solitude. The lone knight may succeed where 100 fonder. What's fonder mean?
The lone knight. I'm guessing it's the lone knight.
I can't guess the name of the card, but I could guess red, black color.
Ooh, it is red.
Oh.
And it goes in my red black deck, so I don't know. That's pretty good.
There we go.
No,
Before we talk about Magic for, we're here to talk about Pokemon.
Sorry.
Okay, all right.
It would have been hard, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, so I feel like we had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get into the main meat of our discussion for today. So, which is basically going to be me asking dumb questions, and then we can hopefully draw a conversation from this.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a dumb question, It's just like you're new to it. You're new to it, so it's just like we don't expect you to like know the ins and outs of something you've never heard. Like, well, you've heard of Pokemon, it's just you've never played it or interacted with it in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, all right. So here's the first question then. What is Pokemon?
It's like everything PETA hates in a video game for children. Like, okay, when it comes down to it, you're cage fighting virtual animals and capturing them for your own personal use. But in like a happy kid's way. It's in a happy kid's way where it's just like, these are my companions for life. I'm going to make them fight other people's companions for life, but they're my companions for life, And in like the story mode and just in the lore and stuff, they do other things than fight. Like they're firefighters and they help cook. They're nurses. One of them's apparently Ash's dad, and then it's just like,
wait, a Pokemon. Okay.
There's a theory in the anime that Ash's dad is a Pokemon called Mr. Mime. Just look it up real quick. It's Mr. Mime's a little unnerving, but people say that Ash's dad is that Mr. Mime. Like, I don't know, maybe Ash's mom gets a little freaky every now and then, but like
is it because Mr. Mime's always with her?
Yeah, he's always there, and so there's a theory that that's Ash's dad. There's a theory that he's an unnerving looking Pokemon. Like, especially if you see the Detective Pikachu version.
Oh my god.
That is nightmare fuel. That thing's nightmare fuel.
Oh no, yeah, it's so good.
It's so good. Gosh.
But Pokemon's turned into more than just like a casual game. There's a competitive side to it too, right?
Oh yeah, like that's basically all I do with Pokemon nowadays.
Yeah, for some. That is not.
Okay, I'm curious. What got you interested in playing Pokemon at a competitive level?
The necessity to defeat my cousins and establish superiority over them. So basically, I got X and Y, and all my cousins and my brothers and stuff were all still playing it, and they were just like, let's have a little tourney next weekend. I'm like, sure, fire it up. I grinded my brains out for the sickest team I could come up with at the time. And it was, man, was it garbage. I had like Thunderbolt Agrons or something like that. I'm like, this is so smart. I'm going to be able to beat everybody with this. I did beat them because my cousins aren't very good at the game, but then it got me looking at things more like type matchups and just learning movesets and stuff a little better just to optimize my chances for winning. At the time, it was just so I could beat my cousins, but slowly I got really into it, and I really like the idea of breeding new Pokemon and building. Like, team building is one of my favorite things to do in Pokemon. It's just build a good team. Like, maybe I don't have to, like, most of the time you're going to build a bad team, but like it's all like trial and error kind of things. I think the longest time I spent on building one team was like 6 months or something. I worked on that team for like 6 months straight. Yeah, almost failed calc because of it, but I built it for 6 months straight.
Is the part that takes the longest, like, breeding for the IVs and EVs and stuff like that, or?
So, like, breeding and stuff is pretty time consuming, but if you're good at it, like, usually it probably wouldn't take that long. And there's this whole debate in the competitive community between genning your Pokemons and actually breeding them in game. So there's programs out there where you can just create the Pokemon, and it's like it's a big gray area because like none of the Pokemon are illegal per se. It's not like you made a Pokemon that's impossible.
Right.
Like a Pokemon. Yeah, it's not like a Pokemon with 5 moves. It's just, it saves you the time of breeding and stuff. But it can be fairly time consuming if you don't know what you're doing.
And for viewers at home, IVs and EVs are basically just like the stats. So like the defense, the attack. Like, just wanted to make sure that that's clear.
And for Kitty too.
I love how she's like yeah. The viewers at home is also like adults.
Viewers at home.
Yeah.
So, Pokemon.
So, like, just to further that, IVs are the ones that you breed. You breed IVs, it's like your genetic, like, inherent stuff that you have in your Pokemon that you can't really change, which they gave a way to change in the newer games because to make it less time consuming, which we'll get into later. But IVs is like the Pokemon's genetics. The EVs are the effort values you get from beating Pokemon. I don't know if you guys know this, but for every Pokemon you knock out or make faint, you actually get stats into your Pokemon.
Really?
And each stat differs from which Pokemon you beat. And so when people who don't really know what they're doing train Pokemon, they kind of just kill everything willy-nilly and just get as much XP as they can to get it to a certain level. But usually the competitive players, if they do breed them, because a lot of people don't, they just gen them. But when they do, they find the right Pokemon they have to beat, and they have to kill a certain amount for effort value spreads and stuff that can get a little complicated, but it's a lot more, in depth than a lot of people seem to think.
So do you do the breeding, or do you just co-gen them?
Personally, I just do the breeding because I enjoy doing it. It's like something I just do while I'm watching TV, or like I'll throw on the hockey game or something. I'll just be breeding Pokemon on the side. They've made it a lot easier in recent years to do it, so it's not nearly as time consuming as before with things like bottle caps, and super training was a more fun, it was slower, but it was a more fun way to do EV training. IVs get changed by I think IVs get changed by bottle. I forget what they are in Sword and Shield, where you can change the IVs. Not quite. I don't quite remember what it was.
What it is, yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
So it sounds like it can get super complicated.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
You know, for the casuals, which is to say me, let's bring it back and talk a little bit more about the games like in general. So what are your feelings on the most recent game that's come out? I guess it's called Sword and Shield.
Personally, I think I like Sword and Shield as an idea, but I feel like the execution wasn't that great. Because I'm not a fan of this whole DLC business model, but that not just Pokemon, but a lot of games are turning to, where it's just you buy a base game and just start building up on it, but you have to pay more money for that stuff. And I'm not a huge fan of that, or even things like battle passes and other games like Fortnite and even League of Legends nowadays, of the whole buy to get the full content kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I like the idea, like the theme behind it. Like I really like the Britain idea because X and Y was based off of France. And I really like the aesthetic of it, and I really like the aesthetic of Sword and Shield. I just wish it felt incomplete, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Like it had fun ideas, like the raids was something different. Yeah. Not exactly a fan of it, but it was an evolution, like a change from the norm of the games beforehand. The wild area I thought was a fantastic idea, where you could see Pokemon roaming in the overworld and you could try to catch that. That's something people have been waiting for. It's just, I feel like it could have been something more, you know? Mm-hmm. It felt still, like I said, like the whole game felt kind of unfinished. Yeah, but overall, design of the Pokemon I do enjoy. Like Sun and Moon was probably my least favorite generation when it came to design of the Pokemon. Mm-hmm. But when we moved into Sword and Shield, I started to gain another, like a new appreciation for some of the new designs, because I think they were better than the gen previous.
I agree, actually. I think like the place we saw it excel the most was like the Pokemon designs. Like there's a one that's like the dragon that has like the baby dragons in its ears.
Oh yeah, Dragapult. I love it. Yeah, and he's just shooting baby dragon. I love that. I love the idea of that. Mm-hmm. I actually really liked Toxtricity. It was one of my favorites this gen. I really liked the design of that one. And that's another thing, Gigantamax forms. Gigantamax forms are the new Mega Evolutions, but for like every Pokemon, not Gigantamax, but Dynamax. Some Pokemon get exclusive Gigantamax forms. And I think that's a downgrade from Mega Evolution, but it's produced some cool looking ones. Like I really do like Gigantamax Toxtricity. Mm-hmm. I really like Gigantamax Lapras. Gigantamax Lapras is a really nice. I really like Gigantamax Lapras, but personally, I still think it was a downgrade from the old Mega Evolution system. Personally,
why do you think it was a downgrade? Just like the way it works?
Well, yeah, more or less the way it works. That the fact that I guess it's more balanced to say, because it only lasts 3 turns. So if some Dynamax Pokemon starts popping off and takes out half your team, it's not Dynamax for the entire game. Mm-hmm. For Mega Evolution, so for things like Kangaskhan, Salamence, or Metagross even, were extremely powerful Mega Evolutions, and they would Mega Evolve, and they would just sweep through your team, and they'd be Mega Evolved for the entire game.
Right.
And it's a lot less exclusive, because Mega Evolution was like confined and isolated to a few select Pokemon, probably 2-3 dozen or so. Mm-hmm. And Dynamax, you can Dynamax whatever Pokemon you want. Yeah. Gigantamax is like special Dynamax, but at the end of the day, every Pokemon can still Dynamax if they choose to, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it would have been cool if all the Pokemons could Gigantamax, just because like I think it's so fun to see the Gigantamax forms.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Like for example, like I think my favorite person is like the Gengar one, which is like the big spooky mouth.
Yeah,
it's just like it's just like really fun. I don't know, the alternate designs are just like I love seeing them. Mm-hmm. Honestly, what's crazy to me is how often Pokemon games get released, and I think that kind of goes back to the game feeling a bit rushed. especially with some of the features, it just felt like if they had an extra year, they really could have like polished everything and made it like the game I think that they envisioned, right? Because I just feel like, especially like the wild area and stuff like that, I think it could have used a bit of refinement, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's for sure. But coming back to that, I think that it could have had another year. Like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon was like another attempt at the whole Black, White, Black 2 success, which Black and White, and Black 2 were wonderful games. I think a lot of people really liked them. Except for the people who were like, I don't like Gen 5 kind of people. But Black and White 2 were like spectacular games in my opinion. And I think they tried to recreate that same sort of idea with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And it just didn't have that same feel, at least for me. And I think if they just left us with Sun and Moon for another year, like what they did with Black and White. So in between Black and White 2, I think there was 2 years that they didn't release a game, and Black and White had 2 world championships played with that game. And I think they could have done that with Sun and Moon rather than release Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and then just spend that extra time developing Sword and Shield. It might have been better. But then Gen 7 would have been left as the one, generation that didn't have an extra game to it. Because every gen there's a separate game. So Gen 1 had Pokemon Yellow, and Gen 2 had Crystal, Gen 3 had Leaf Green and Emerald, and Fire Red. Gen 4 had Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Gen 5 had Black and White 2. Gen 6 had Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. And Gen 7 would have just had Sun and Moon. So I guess that's why they decided they were just going to add in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. But I think that time would have probably been better spent working on Sword and Shield for a new console that has been very, very, very good for Nintendo.
Do you think that because of the DLC, they're not going to make another, like a third thing for Sword and Shield?
No, actually, because I think there's rumors out right now that the remakes for the 4th generation are in the works, at least from what I've heard. And I think it's rumored to be called Time Diamond and Space Pearl or something like that. I haven't looked into it too far. When it gets, more confirmation, I'm definitely much more excited for a remake of a game that I appreciated a lot as a child. But I want it to be, more solid and concrete before I put a lot of effort and speculation into it,
Yeah, that's really exciting. Like, Diamond was the game that I probably sunk the most time into. I sunk so many hours into Diamond. Like, that was my game for like a year. Like, oh god. It's like, my favorite part was like the little, they had like the secret bases, but you could just mine. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was so
you could just hit the walls. Like, I don't know what it gave you, to be honest, but it was so much fun. Like, I just did that. Like, I didn't even play the main game.
My brother and I would play that game constantly, where just sitting in the living room or something, and we'll just be running around the mines, even though it was just the two of us. Because I think it could have up to like 16 people running around in that if you had enough people around.
Really?
But it was just the two of us, and despite us, the content being so limited between just 2 people, we spent countless hours digging through those.
Yeah.
But that being said,
oh, go ahead.
Oh no! I was go ahead. Yeah.
I'd say like I don't think that ever had like more than one person, but I remember like me and like my best friend growing up, we would just like at sleepovers, we would just both be on our chances in our minds. We thought it was so cool.
That was definitely a good feature, to be honest. And I think Diamond and Pearl were great games. Platinum, I think, was slightly better than those two, at least in my opinion. But for Gen 4, for sure, my favorite games were Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I think those were possibly the best, if not one of the best, games ever made.
Why do you
for Pokemon-wise.
Do you consider that your favorite game, John?
As just a story and like graphics and things like that, I think Heart Gold, Soul Silver was going to be my favorite game for a long time until I was something that beats it. I think XY is a close second because that was kind of my Pokemon renaissance was in XY. But But Heart Gold, Soul Silver, I think it was spectacularly done. The atmosphere it created was really good. The extra content that it had, like the Pokeathlon and I think and the Kanto post game, where after you beat the Elite Four, you can move into the Kanto region and relive that sort of moments like you did back in Silver. Mm-hmm. And the little Pokewalker thing that came with the games, I thought was really, really cool too. So that's why I really like those games.
I never actually played Heart Gold or Soul Silver. Like, what was the plot in that one?
So basically, it was just a remake of Silver Gold. And
okay.
It was, you just think Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby kind of thing, where it just brought like just a remake of the old games. But they had the following Pokemon, and then they just it made a very good atmosphere for a game, and they added a lot of little extras for everybody to do, like I said, the Pokeathlon, which is like a Pokemon Olympics, and it was like contests for that generation basically. And Pokewalker, because like I couldn't take my DS everywhere as a kid, and it was a really cool feature because like my parents are religious and all, so like I went to church and I couldn't just sit there with my DS out like. But I could bring this little Pokewalker thing. I just hang on my belt loops of my pants, and as I walked, it would like what it would do is it was like based on how far you walked and which location you chose, it would like bring in new Pokemon for you to try to catch and bring into your DS is what it would do. And you could put one of your Pokemon from the game in there, and it would collect items and fight other Pokemon while you were walking, which I thought was a really cool feature.
That's really fun, yeah.
Mine was broken.
Actually... it's time, you know?
Oh man. Okay, so like again, I'm coming at this from a perspective of knowing absolutely nothing, but I take it there's a lot of games. So I'm curious, Roxanne and Uni, what are your favorites?
Like, so favorite in general or favorite in like gens? Generations.
Either or. I mean, you're talking to
Let's just say favorite in general, because like Heart Gold, Soul Silver at the end of the day was probably my favorite in general. So
favorite game?
Yeah.
I probably played Pearl and Soul Silver the most, so probably those two. Yeah, like one of those two. I definitely spent a lot of hours in those games, so I really enjoyed them a lot. Like, I restarted them multiple times too, just to like I had two DSs, right? So I'd like trade my Pokemon over to myself and like continue trading just so I could get all the Pokemon, because I think I got Diamond from someone else, and then I restarted because I felt like restarting. So yeah, those two.
Yeah, for me it was definitely Diamond. Like, that was the game that, I don't know, I played the most probably. And I mean, I'm always gonna have like a soft spot for Leaf Green because it was the first Pokemon game I played, and I think that's like, it's just so special. And I can remember like the road trip I was on when I was playing the game. Like, it just like is so part of my childhood. But I think what I loved the most about Diamond was the stupid little competitions, like the contests where you could like there had like a dancing phase, and it was like a little like rhythm game. There was like a little dress up phase.
Oh yeah. And then you had to make like poffins or whatever.
I just like fed them poffins. It was so much fun. But I think also, sorry, like I love so many of the games, but like design wise, X and Y, I remember the first time I played that, I was just like, wow, like this is, I don't know, it just looks so cool to me. And then, but then okay, Black and White also though, like that one city, the like the perspective shift on the city, it was just so like next level. Like I'd never seen anything like that.
Like in one game it was like this old Japanese style city, and this other one it's like super future, and the other game it was super futuristic or something like that. I don't remember what city it was, but
I don't remember the name, but it was insane. And like the bridges, like the bridges were so cool in that game. Like going to the bridges, and there were like time events and stuff. Like it was pretty revolutionary in my opinion. Like I really like Black and White.
Like, I think in terms of Pokemon design, like the designs of the Pokemon, I think Gen 5 gets too much hate. But personally, my favorite Gen, I think it's a hot take. A lot of people will disagree with me on this, but I think Gen 6 probably had the most cohesive and nicest design of any Pokemon game. Like, all the Pokemon, I think, look amazing. Gen 5, I think, was a wonderful reboot for the franchise, and I think people didn't really get that they just thought it was another Pokemon game. But the point of those was, like, to refresh the franchise, because it was starting to get kind of stale. And so that's why they introduced 155, more than Gen 1 Pokemon in Black and White. So it was just a whole new set of Pokemon to begin with.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I didn't realize they introduced that many.
Yeah, it was a lot. Like, it was a lot.
Oh my gosh! Can you imagine like nowadays? Like, how many new Pokemons were there in the most recent? It wasn't that many, right? Maybe like 60 or something.
Yeah, I think what I am imagining they're doing is, so Gen 1, 151, Gen 2 was like 80 some or so, and then Gen 3 was a fair bit more, 100 or so, and Gen 4 was, I think, once again 100 or so. And I think what they were doing is, and then Gen 5 came around and they added a whole new reboot with the 155, and I think what they're doing is they're on that tapering end again, where they're just lowering the amount per gen until they do another reboot eventually and add in a whole new wave.
Do you think there's gonna be another like full reboot?
That's the thing. I don't know. Like, I don't know if the franchise is gonna I highly doubt they're gonna just stop making Pokemon games, because it's such a cash cow for Nintendo, right? Like, they make crazy amounts of money from Pokemon, like insane amounts of money from Pokemon. I think it's the best selling game franchise of all time or something like that. Or pretty darn close. It's pretty darn close to it. And so, like, there's no reason for them to stop making Pokemon games from financial standpoint. From like a creative, like, burnout kind of thing, it's probably better for them to, stop at some point. But but if they're going to keep making money, I think it's I wouldn't say in the near future, but I'd say in like 5-6 years, maybe they'll reboot it again.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, I don't know, like, you look at a franchise like Mario, right? And every single game, they're so different, right? It's like, they have similar elements, but the gameplay style is just completely different every game, right? But you look at something like Pokemon, and each game is so similar, right? Like, the main mechanics never really change, right? But they, like, obviously style-wise, things get better, and, they add certain things, but, like, the heart and soul of each game is, like, the same core gameplay, right? So I think, like, it's hard to keep that not stale, so it's, like, a really fine line. Yeah.
So I think what they're trying a lot of new different things. Like, in Sun and Moon, there wasn't even gyms. They did the trials, right? Yeah. They did trials, and then this one they had the stadium battles or whatever. I guess at the end of the day, they're still gym leaders, but they're always trying to add something new. There was Z-Moves, Mega Evolutions. There was the little Poke Park, or the amusement park. The Pokemon Plaza was in Sun and Moon. Yeah. So they're constantly trying to add new things, right? Because, like what you said with Mario, there's like a lot of different elements. Because like of Super Mario, like Sunshine or whatever, or Super Mario Galaxy are different from like the mainline games. And Pokemon I just feel like the Pokemon main games are just so much more successful than their spin-off games, that it's hard to like. Because, like, there's so many spin-off games. Like, I have 4 or 5 on my phone. Like, if I could, there's Rumble Rush, Pokemon Masters on my phone, Pokemon Go on my phone, Pokemon Duel on my phone. There was Pokemon Shuffle at one point. I don't know if people still play that. There's Pokemon Conquest, Pokemon Snap. There's even Magikarp Jump and Pokemon Camp. There's so many spin-off games. There's so many spin-off games. But they don't get the same amount of love as the mainline games. So I guess that's why people are so focused and it's so centralized to those games that it's hard to find something new when they have that formula for one game and so many other formulas for other games, but nobody cares about those other formulas. It's hard to find something refreshing and new in something that people are so fixated on.
Yeah, that's a really good point with the because you're right, like the spin-off games are so different from the main gameplay but it's almost hard to even like associate them with the mainline games because they are so different, right? Like you look at Pokemon Snap, and you're basically like, I mean, I played that game so much as a kid, but
there's a new one coming out. Hey,
to do really.
Yeah, it's coming out on the Switch.
Oh my god.
It has nothing to do with Pokemon, like from a gameplay perspective. If that makes sense.
Exactly.
Well,
it's like the same
think about
characters.
it. Yeah, you think about it, and the one thing that's tying everything together is the Pokemon themselves, right? So like that's what we're centered around. That actually brings up a cool thing because you talk about all of the gameplay and all of these different things that are associated with the whole, I'll call it franchise. But ultimately it comes back to the creatures that you're battling. Essentially. So one thing I'm curious about is like, what's your favorite Pokemon?
Oh my.
My list is long. I got a long ass like. I got a lot. It depends. It depends on gen. It depends on competitive or design wise. But like I would say overall, like my personally, I think the Pokemon that's my favorite is definitely overrated. It's loved by a lot of people. I like Caesar. Caesar is probably my favorite Pokemon of all time. Like if you don't know, Caitlin, it's like. Imagine a praying mantis if it was covered in metal armor and threw really fast punches. That's red. Literally.
It's like red.
Yeah, it's red. Yeah.
Red metal praying mantis. I do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, I think that would be my favorite Pokemon. But every gen has it's down to the wire because I always struggle to pick 6 from each gen, except for Sun Moon, which probably was my least favorite. But I still have a lot of favorites from that gen.
Mm. Okay, well let's go around to you and Roxy. Like, what's your overall, and then we can go into some of the gens and stuff.
All right.
Caesar is like an interesting pick to me because it's like the anime mech of Pokemon. To be honest,
yeah, it's like if Gundam was in Pokemon.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Was it on like one of your teams? Like, is that how you fell in love with the Pokemon, or?
No. Okay, so Gen 2 is one of my favorite gens. I didn't actually play Gold and Crystal and Silver, but I played Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
Right.
And those were my favorite games. And I managed to get a Caesar in that one day. And I fell in love with it. I loved it so much. Like, I traded with my friend to get it. And I didn't even know, like, at the time what it even looked like. I just remember my friend saying, you got to trade Caesar with Metal Coat to evolve it or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, sick. Okay, I don't have that one yet. I'll grab it. And I found out later on that it was insane, like years down the line, in 2014, like 4 or 5 years later, I found out it's nuts in competitive Pokemon. And so I've had it on a couple teams, that's for sure. And it's done wonderfully for me. But it's not just competitive. I also like it design-wise and nostalgia-wise. It's got everything going for it, at least for me. Yeah. I don't know what everybody else likes, though. Yeah.
Tossing it around. Roxy, you go next.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like the ones I love the most are the ones that I've battled with the longest.
Yeah.
That's, like, my association. But 100% for me, Psyduck is like my favorite Pokemon. Like, I have a level 100 shiny Psyduck. Like, I'm a full Psyduck fan. It's just something about like Psyduck is just super delightful.
Yeah.
I don't remember which game this is, but there's definitely a game where they just like block the road and they're all like have headaches.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Oh, was that Gen 5 or was that Gen 4? That might have been Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Wait, no, because
no, you haven't played that game though. Yeah, you didn't play that game.
I don't think it's that one. Then.
So it has to be.
Might have been Black and White. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I'm not certain.
But I know what you're talking about. I think Psyducks are so cute. They're so cute.
I was so happy with the amount of like praise Psyduck got with the new Detective Pikachu movie. Like very pleased with that. Mm-hmm. So Psyduck is just premium Pokemon.
Premium. So for Caitlin, it's just this adorable little like
duck.
Yellow duck that kind of never knows where it is. It's just lost all the time. It's just
He's
this airheaded yellow duck.
He looks like a headache, basically. He looks like a guy.
Oh, poor baby. Oh, no.
It's really sad.
Oh, Oh man.
It's a very cute Pokemon, though.
Yeah, it's cute.
I can imagine. I just feel bad for the little guy.
Me too, actually. Because it's like, I wonder if like the person who came up with Psyduck had a headache, like when he came up with came up with the Pokemon.
It's just like I need to put my feelings on paper.
Yeah.
They're like grabbing an Advil, they're like sketching, they're like, oh wait, let's just give it a headache.
Yeah,
So one of the developers
Coworker
recently
comes up to them and they're just like so annoying. It's just like I wish I could just give this headache to you.
yeah.
one of the developers recently was talking about how the creative process for some of the older Pokemon, and he said sometimes he was just drunk out of his mind when he was just creating things. He would just put something on paper and he would try to sober up and he would just try to make sense of what he was talking about when he was drunk, and that's how some of the Pokemon came to life, because he was just mangled out of his mind, and he puts like some abstract concept. He probably wrote down headache when he was with a hangover, came in a couple days later, he's like, you know what'd be cool with a hangover? A duck, and came up with Psyduck.
Oh that's perfect.
Gosh. I could totally see that with like Zubat or something. It's like
Yeah.
Just have a blue bat.
This is blue.
Let's have a bat made out of a mouth. Let's just have a bat made out of a mouth is what it essentially was.
Or you have like Voltorb or something. It's like, what if the Pokeball was also the Pokemon?
Yeah. Just the Pokemon.
Let's go. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
And the history of Pokemon is a lot like that, because like the developers who made the game didn't. So there was this guy, Ken Sugimori. He's the one that always did all the art for the first few gens of Pokemon. Okay, and so what he would do for that first gen, he didn't actually design any of the Pokemon. So what happened was the sprite makers made Pokemon, and what he would do is he would look at it, interpret it, and draw it out. That's how we see a lot of the Pokemon designs for the first gen today, so Psyduck included. But if you look at the original sprites for Ivysaur, it was flat as a pancake. It was literally like, it's just, imagine you threw a plant onto a plate, and that's what it looked like. And so what this guy would do is just look at all these wonderful. They're not bad sprites, but I think they're wonderful sprites for like a first game, and in the 90s even. And he just imagined these timeless Pokemon that people love and just adore today. Like, for example, your Psyduck or Charizard, which people, I think, is extremely overrated, but people love it. They eat up anything Charizard. Like,
yeah.
Charizard is adored by too many people.
I love Charizard. How could you not?
Like, I think he's so cool.
Like Charizard or like Charmander in the rain. It's like, that just warms everyone's heart, you know?
Oh, dude, that episode made me so sad.
Yeah, I cried.
So like Charmander is like this little tiny dragon guy, but he has this little flame on his tail, and if the flame gets put out, like, he dies, I'm pretty sure, or something bad happens.
Yeah. That's when I first found out Pokemon could die, and I was in tears. I was like 5-year-old me, just like, no.
Pokemon in the rain. It's a very dangerous combo. It's just like, yeah, it's super delightful.
Yeah. But you could tell Game Freak and Nintendo know that Charizard is absolutely adored. So they have so many things. Like even the new Reggie form, like the dragon one, is shaped like a Charizard's head. They got VMAX Charizard. Charizard got 2 Mega Evolutions.
Oh yeah.
They got and then even the most expensive chase card out there right now, like for sets you can still like buy at the store, Hidden Fates, is a shiny full art black Charizard card, and ungraded, like fresh out of the pack, like you haven't graded it with some grading company yet. It starts from $750 or something like that.
Wow.
And one of them went for auction for, I want to say 11,000, but I'm not sure, because it was like a black label higher than 10 grade card, and it went for auction for $11,000. And it was
Crazy.
just because it was a shiny Charizard. People love it.
love
People just
Charizard.
love Charizard.
I mean, it's my sister's favorite Pokemon. Like, she has, like,
Yeah.
Charizard plush that she grew up with, so. I mean, honestly, Charizard is just kind of the cutest little... Well, like, Charizard, not so cute. He's
Like,
a big, scary dragon.
Charmander's
but
cute though.
Charmander's adorable.
Yeah.
I disagree. My favorite starter in that gen was by far Bulbasaur and Ivysaur, Venusaur. I think that line was by far my favorite that gen. I don't know.
Like, the Squirtle, Wartortle, but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no. I just thought they were the most friendly looking when I was a child. I just thought they were cute. And so I chose them for my team, which didn't really make sense because I was battling the Pokemon, so I probably shouldn't have chosen the friendliest looking one. But you know, like I wasn't a bright kid. At least I don't think so.
Yeah, as a kid, I never wanted to evolve any of my Pokemon because usually as they evolve, they get more like big and burly versus like, when they're little, they're just super cute, right? So I remember like my Squirtle, I evolved it to a Wartortle, but the Wartortle is still really cute. But like Blastoise is kind of just like a big scary hunk. So I was like, I never evolved it to Blastoise because I was like, it's way too intense for me. How am I more with the little fluffy ears? Like it's so cute.
You want your soft boy Wartortle, and then Blastoise was just too strong for you, too muscular for you.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, Uni, is your favorite a cute one? Or is it just powerful?
I don't think it's that cute. Well, okay, it's cute to me, but I don't think in general it's considered cute. My favorite is Garchomp.
Garchomp?
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider Garchomp cute. I like Garchomp. I think Garchomp looks sick, but I would not consider it cute.
Yeah, I think it's shocking because I usually like cute things, but no, Garchomp.
I don't know. You like Jin and League of Legends, so I don't know if you like cute things.
People think I like cute things. So. But yeah, for reference, Kaylin is a dragon guy.
It's like, just imagine a hammerhead shark.
Yeah.
If it had legs and it could run on land and did a bajillion damage.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I think he looks cool as hell.
I think he's a sick Pokemon.
Yeah, I love him so much. That's definitely my favorite.
I think my taste for Pokemon is a little weird because I want to say elegant, but I feel like that doesn't perfectly encompass what I have. Like an odd taste for Pokemon. Like in Gen 4, like I think my favorite Pokemon was like Roserade or something, which is like this little flower rose holding Pokemon compared to like Garchomp. I thought Garchomp was cool, and I thought it was like this super scary dragon thing, but I like this little grass type Pokemon with flowers on its head because I just thought it was kind of cool looking. I think the elegant look is cool. So things like Aurorus in Gen 6, I thought was a beautiful Pokemon. I think that was one of my favorites.
I like that one too.
Yeah, that's so cute.
Yeah. Or like Melodic in Gen 3, I really like Melodic. The one that evolves from Feebas, that little ugly Magikarp Caterpillar. Yeah.
Yes.
I like that one too. Or Suicune. Out of the three, Suicune was always my favorite because it just looks so sleek and beautiful. I'm like, this is an amazing Pokemon.
I love it, yeah.
I feel like it's kind of crazy, but I feel like the Pokemon you just mentioned were the ones that messed me up the worst. Like, do you remember that one Roserade? I think it was in like, I think it was in Black and White, maybe. It was like one of the last final bosses. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The gym
But like, they had a
leader.
Roserade, and it just destroyed me again and again. It just had this crazy moveset. And then Melodic also had this weird healing thing, I remember, in one of the games that just like messed my team right up.
I remember.
The elegant ones are always like, they always have these weird healing moves that are just no fun for anyone.
Yeah.
I think, did Cynthia have a Roserade in Diamond and Pearl?
Yeah, she did. She
I
had a
think
Garchomp
I think-
and
yeah.
a Roserade, and I love that. I love her so
That sounds
much.
right.
Dude, Cynthia is like the baddest
Yeah, no, I
of all
love
Pokemon
her.
trainers of all time.
Caitlin's like, I don't know what's happening.
I'm just sitting here looking pretty. You know?
Looking cute.
like Caitlin, just imagine like the strongest Pokemon trainer in the entire region besides your character after they beat her, of course, but has like this like really cool looking like black leather trench coat dress thing with like boots, and she's just like, just imagine like this killer beauty kind of thing, looking hot as hell.
Yeah.
All I could say is I want a trench coat dress now.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
looks
it's
so
honestly,
good
yeah.
in it. Yeah, no.
She slays.
She did. I thought she was so
Absolute
pretty. I was
slays.
like, oh my god. I was like watching the shows, and I remember her so well.
Dude, there's been a few.
She did.
There's been there's been a few female champions afterwards, and they just don't give the same vibe. Like there's Diantha in XY, this like girl in a frilly white dress, and she was okay, I guess. Like didn't really get. She had strong Pokemon at all, but you know, she didn't have that same aesthetic as Cynthia or whoever that character was in Sun and Moon, the golfing girl. It was like this.
Remember her name.
There was this girl in the Elite Four that just a pro golfer or
Yeah, I
something, and
remember
I think she was just strong as all hell, but she just doesn't give the same vibe as Cynthia.
Yeah. Cynthia had a real vibe going on, and it was the best. It was the best vibe.
What always made me happy is that because my name like has rocks in it, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
there's a gym leader called Roxanne and one called Roxy. It's just like
Yeah,
the rock gym leader just
Yeah.
has like a 50% chance. It just
having rocks in
it just works too well. Like they can't resist, and I love it. So
It's perfect.
that always
Well,
makes
it's
me happy.
So did you ever, fall into that aesthetic where you're just like, hey, I'm gonna be a rock type trainer now? Like, you ever just fall in love with a rock type Pokemon because of it, or you just like, oh, cool, I guess my name's in the game kind of thing?
I did. I cosplayed one of them. The one that's like looks more like she's kind of like a rock trainer schoolgirl kind of look. I definitely cosplayed her just because she had the same name as me, and I thought that was super cool.
Like the one from Diamond Pearl, right? The one with like the pink bow tie and like the blue frilly dress, I think it was, or like overall. It was something like it was like an overall kitty
It's like
dress.
a gray, it's like a gray overall dress.
Yeah.
That was definitely the one, and I just love the fact that it was like my name. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm a gym leader. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like this is my calling. That could be me.
Yeah.
That'd be so much fun, actually. Just to be a gym leader, like, dude, that's like ideal profession right there.
I do.
Well,
Oh, that's another thing I was.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna ask, like, would you rather cosplay a gym leader or a Pokemon?
Yeah, so like cosplaying Pokemon's actually really popular. I think there's like a special word for it. It's like Jajinka or something like that.
I never heard of that.
I'm butchering it, but it's like there's a special word for people who cosplay like Pokemon humanoid kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like really, really popular. A lot of times people will do like kimono Pikachu. Like that's one I see a lot. It'll be like or like samurai Pikachu. Like a lot of like variations on Pikachu I see a lot. It's really fun.
Oh, have you ever seen those guys that are like ripped as all hell and got the Magikarp on their head?
Oh my god.
Oh, those guys are so shit. It's just imagine like the most muscular people you could ever imagine with just a Magikarp face on. It's just like this derpy fish that has like this like empty, this completely void look in its face.
I'm picturing like a giant water polo player or something.
Oh yeah, no, you're not far off. You're not far off. Like they're rocking speedos and
Yeah, they're in speedos with a freaking fish on their head. That's pretty
That is
But, some of this-
a costume.
yeah, it
It
like
is.
a costume's whatever you decide to wear. To be completely honest. But like a lot of the new well, not new, but a lot of things I've been seeing lately is people cosplaying as the Pokemon themselves, where it's just like this person in like a life-size Mewtwo suit, which is like,
I haven't seen
which is like
crazy.
where it's starting to like travel in like furry territory, but it's actually pretty cool looking. Like, I feel like, like it's kind of hard because it's only for certain Pokemon you can really do it for. Like Mewtwo's fairly humanoid. Caesar's another one you could probably do if you really tried. Or what's something off the top of my head? I'm sure you could do it. Yeah, Hitmonchan and like
Yeah.
Gliscor and stuff. So stuff that has like arms and legs that
Mr.
are
Mime.
easy.
Oh no.
Yeah, Mr. Mime. Yeah, I'm out here cosplaying as Ash's dad.
Gosh. Like a father-son duo.
Oh, that'd be so weird. A father-son duo with Mr. Mime and Ash. Like all the kids would love it. They're like, "Oh, cool, it's Ash," but anybody that knows would just be traumatized.
Like imagine doing like a family cosplay, but like Mr. Mime.
Dude, I don't know how he would create that. How somebody would recreate that without making it nightmare fuel. I don't know how.
Oh, it would be for sure.
It would just.
It is.
There's nothing around that.
Like life-size Mr. Mime is probably the most unsettling thing I can think of.
I would not want to see that.
You see that in a dark alley, it's like it's over.
Yeah,
Like,
It's done. It's good night, Jim Kite.
GG. Well played.
This is how I go, Mr. Mime.
Yeah, buddy looks like he steals organs on the reg just as a side hustle, you know? Working with the cartel.
You're not wrong though.
Okay, so I'm curious, like, okay, if we think about the types of Pokemon, would there be one that's easier to cosplay? Like, I have a list in front of me, I'm like, would the normal Pokemon be easier? Or is it, like, are they all spread out? Like, the ones you've talked about, are they all spread out in the different types? Or
They're all pretty spread out.
Yeah, they're all spread out, for sure.
Because, like, normal type it's got a lot of things. Like, there's just a lot of, like, mammals
Yeah, there's
in
a lot of
normal type.
Yeah.
So, like, there's, like, monkeys and
Dogs.
dogs and cats and stuff in there, right? And so it's just got a lot of, like, just generic-looking mammals and rodents and things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's humanoid Pokemon kind of spread out throughout the types, because fire types, I guess Blaziken's fairly humanoid, if anything.
Yeah.
Infernape's like
A monkey?
an ape. It's a monkey, yeah. Like Incineroar's fairly humanoid. It's like a cat that looks like a wrestler standing on two legs, and
Yeah.
Yes. Incineroar.
Or even is
Bad
is it,
Incineroar.
Telejon or something like
Inteleon, the newest
Oh,
one, yeah. It's like a water lizard.
Yeah.
Little lizard boy.
He looks like James Bond with a dad bod, in my opinion. Inteleon.
Oh, he's just like pointing his hand.
No, just that, but he's got like a gut going, you know? It's just like
yeah,
he's standing sideways and just like they didn't try to make it, they didn't want to flatter him. I guess he's not like
Inteleon's super wispy.
yeah, it's like he's like
Skip leg day.
no, okay, like just imagine, you know, Lelouch from
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know Lelouch.
Yeah.
if you just imagine Lelouch if Lelouch had a beer gut going on. That's what Inteleon looks like
Oh
to
my
me.
God. I love Lelouch.
How dare he?
Lelouch is a beautiful man, just saying.
He is a beautiful man.
Oh,
He
man.
came in top of our ranking a few weeks ago, so
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. We all love him.
Quite a throwback.
Cur-
But speaking of rankings, actually, we have a fun one for tonight.
Yeah.
We're ranking the types of Pokemon. So I'm very curious as to how this is gonna be. So let's pass it off to our new guest first. Actually, what's your ranking for so. John, usually we name the criteria for how we decided to rank them, and then then we'll just list them off because there's a lot.
Yeah, just
Yeah. There's 18 types and all, and I think all of us are gonna have slightly different criteria because like you have no experience with things, so you're just going off. You're going off with whatever, right?
This is why we say the criteria.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna rank it twice because like my favorite types are a lot different than I think competitive viability in my personal opinion. So I first off, I think competitive is just its overall usefulness to a Pokemon. Like if a Pokemon is this type, would that make it better or worse? Is what I'm going off of. And so like for my 18th place, I have bug type. Like bug type is almost always a detriment to a Pokemon. Like by making a Pokemon a bug type, you gave it a nerf is essentially what I'm thinking. And then for 17th place, I have ice types. And ice types competitively, the moves are great because ice type hits a lot of Pokemon super effectively, and it's a wonderful type to be a move is ice type. But for a Pokemon to be ice type themselves is once again a huge detriment because it makes you weak to everything under the sun. If it breathes on you, you're probably dying if you're an ice type. If it breathes on you. and it feels bad. But there's a lot of. It's like it's good offensively, but extremely weak defensively. Flying type it's the same idea where it's weak to a lot of common things like ice, rock, electric, and it's very common typing. And so the one thing I would say that flying has above ice and bug is it's immune to ground type moves, which is a common attacking type. But flying type, I don't think would help a Pokemon out nearly as much as stuff further up on the list. 15 I got grass type, and grass type is probably the weakest out of the 3 starter types, but I think it's not at the bottom because they have a lot of cool utility by inherently being grass types. They're immune to spore moves, so they're not as affected by status conditions, and they're immune to leech seed, so they're weaker. They're not nearly as weak to stall, so they're important defensively in the metagame. It's just they have a lot of glaring weaknesses. And at 14 I got normal type, which is because normal type is kind of generic. I wouldn't say, from this point on, I wouldn't say these typings are bad per se. They're just not nearly as good as the other types. So what normal types are, they don't hit anything super effectively, and they can't hit those types, and they're only weak to fighting types. So they're just kind of as what normal type would be, just a generic typing. And so there's definitely been historically good, if not even amazing number 1 Pokemon in the meta normals, looking at Mega Kangaskhan, which was the most powerful Mega evolution for 3 generations in a row. Or something I can think off the top of my head here.
Smeargle.
Oh, I'm drawing. Smeargle. Oh, Smeargle was that's actually Smeargle. Smeargle was broken for ages. Whenever in meta, in formats, wouldn't say meta games, but formats where cover legendaries are allowed, things like Xerneas and Groudon, Kyogre are legal. Smeargle is, up until recently when they banned Dark Void, was basically create your support Pokemon and make it do whatever your team needs to, and it would do it perfectly. So it could run things like Sticky Web, Dark Void, Spore, Follow Me, Rage Powder, Heart Swap even. I've seen on one. Geomancy. It was basically create a Pokemon, and it was really broken because of it until they banned the move that could put 2 Pokemon to sleep at once.
So wait, Smeargle can learn any move in the game, right?
Now it used to, but now it can't learn Dark Void. I think there might be a couple more moves.
On purpose.
Oh no, yeah. Lately, that's something that Pokemon, the Pokemon Company and Game Freak and stuff, have actually been actively doing is nerfing and buffing things. Okay. So for up until Gen 6, everything was at the mercy of power creep. Everything was. And Gen 6 rolled around and they realized a lot of the Pokemon were not able to keep up. And so they would get small, 20 stat buffs in their defense or their attack, whatever it might be. And even now, what happened even recently was there's an actual ban list for VGC now. Pokemon are banned. They took 20, I want to say 10 to 20 Pokemon, and they just banned them from the format just to freshen up the metagame because it was just so stale.
Was it mostly legendaries or?
No, it was things I think Venusaur got banned. I know Venusaur got banned because it was such a powerful Pokemon. I would tell you the list, but I don't know it off the top of my head. But it was this. I think it was just Pokemon that were super relevant in the metagame, and they just took them out. And even then, they were nerfing things from gen to gen, they're nerfing things more often because in Gen 5, weather was permanent. So if a Pokemon came in with, for Politoed or Tyranitar would come in with rain or sandstorm, and it would be there until a new weather came in. And that was really broken. And so they started limiting turns on weather for Gen 6 rolled around. They nerfed Mega Kangaskhan's ability because it was too strong. And they nerfed Dark Void. They nerfed...
What does Dark Void do? Because you keep mentioning it, and now I'm curious.
So Dark Void was I wouldn't say it's the most toxic move out there, but it's Darkrai's signature move. So in singles, it's a sleep that has 85% accuracy, which is
Oh god.
average. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's meh. Because Spore is just better. It just can't hit any grass types. So Spore is 100% accurate.
Oh wow! I didn't
But the
know
thing-
was that accurate?
Yeah, but the thing with Dark Void is when you play VGC, it's generally a doubles format. So there's always two Pokemon on the field, and it's two Pokemon at the same time. And what Dark Void does, it hits both Pokemon at the same time.
Oh,
And
that's pretty broken.
Yeah,
yeah,
That'll break
and,
you.
that is all we needed to hear.
and the thing with Smeargle is Smeargle has this thing called Moody. So basically, each turn at the end, it would gain 2 buffs. It would gain a boost in 2 stats and a minus in 1.
Mhm.
But the thing is, it's just kind of inherent that as long as it stays alive, the net will always be positive, and eventually it'll have max everything.
Oof.
Yeah, if 2 random stats go up and 1 random stat goes down, inherently it'll slowly get. And so it made the game very unstable. Because Pokemon, that's the thing about Pokemon lately that people don't seem to understand with the newer games, and why there seems to be so much less story to it, I want to say. Because people want to seem to think that these newer games aren't they're not very difficult, and 2, that their stories are weak. And the reason behind that, I would bet to say, is that these new games are more focused towards the competitive side of things. They want to make the games easy to finish so that you can get to the end game. They want to make breeding easier, and they want to make more moves and typings relevant and balanced in the competitive scene. And it's taking away from the casual fan base, which I would say is probably the larger fan base. But that's what's happening lately, right? And so where was I again? I don't know why I completely forgot why I brought up the storyline there.
Normals.
Yeah, normal
Smeargle.
type.
Oh yeah.
But that's actually really interesting with the because I didn't realize that the newer games were actually a lot better for competitive players, because I've just never been in the competitive scene, and the complaints with the story and stuff are totally, it sounds like me. So
Yeah, they're definitely relatable. Yeah, so I guess the reason they've been banning this stuff, and they've been really focused on expanding the competitive scene, and so they want to take out the random element of it. They want to try to make it more skill based. But at the end of the day, Pokemon's always going to have some level of RNG to it, because it's just the way the game's made. Yeah, so there's things like random burns, random freezes, there's confusion, there's paralysis, flinching, and all that. And it's always going to be part of the game. And they're just trying to, and Smeargle just kind of amplified all that, huge. It just made the RNG very apparent in a game that they were wanting to be more skill based, basically. And so this one of these guys named Aaron Cybertron Zhang, he did a speech at his school, because he was this famous Pokemon YouTuber and stuff, and he won a lot of regionals and nationals and things like that. But he described it as like a mix between chess and poker, and with team building is what he called Pokemon. So the way you play it out is very chess-like, but the results can be very poker-like, because based on, you don't know what sets the other opponent has, or what EVs they're running, or even if the moves that you're using will land sometimes, right? Or if your Pokemon can even move because of what moves the opponent would use. So it's basically chess with a lot of random elements, and they want to kind of get rid of that. That's why they banned Smeargle. Well, they didn't ban Smeargle, they banned Dark Void and things like that.
And so that's why normals are mid-tier, is what I'm hearing.
yeah. Because there's definitely some good ones out there. There's definitely some good ones out there, but the typing as a whole is very is very basic, if for lack of a better term here. Okay, I went on a huge tangent there. I'm sorry.
It's
Yeah,
interesting.
but on 13, I have poison typing. And so poison typing definitely would have been way lower before because it's weak to ground types. It's weak to psychic types, which are two very common attacking types. And the only reason it's up higher now is because poison is super effective against fairy. And fairy, I personally think, is a very powerful typing. And so that's the only reason poison's up higher than these guys is because I think it's a little more viable nowadays than it was in the past. And so after 13, like electric, rock, fire, dark, psychic, and I'd say those ones. So those 5, I have them kind of arbitrarily placed in the next few spots because I think they're all equal and have the same amount of drawbacks.
Okay.
Like electric types tend to be. I have electric at 12 because they tend to be frail, the electric types, but they're quick and they tend to do a lot of damage. They do have some cool support moves like Thunder Wave and Electro Web stuff like that. So they do have utility, but their drawback is they're weak to ground, which is a very powerful attacking type. And then after that, I got Rock. Rock, I think, is a wonderful attacking type and hits so many things super effectively. But Rock itself suffers the same thing as Ice, where it's weak to a lot of things, where it's weak to grass, water, steel, fighting, and those are all fairly common. It's just Rock types tend to have the stats to survive getting destroyed by these kinds of moves compared to Ice types. So something like a Tyranitar, despite being weak to like 8 things, it's weak to bug, fighting, ground, water, grass, fairy, and I think maybe a couple other ones. Something like that. But it's weak to a lot of stuff. But Tyranitar is still one of the most powerful Pokemon and it's constantly used. It's never won Worlds, I don't think. But Tyranitar is a very powerful Pokemon overall, I'd say.
I love Tyranitar's art.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Me too. I think he's really cool.
Yeah, very very Godzilla-esque Tyranitar is.
So cute.
And so after Rock here, I got Fire. So Fire is the same deal as you'll see this trend a lot where Rock, Fire, Ice, Electric, and stuff are all, I think, wonderful attacking types, but they have too many defensive flaws to be higher up. And so the thing with Fire is weak to Rock, and in singles, it's not very relevant in doubles, but Stealth Rock is something that's extremely meta relevant.
I hate Stealth Rock.
Stealth Rock is everywhere. Stealth Rock is everywhere. They made it easier this gen.
Yeah, it's like you take your Pokemon out and you're like, alright.
Yes, it's like you throw out Charizard and you're just like, oh, half his health is gone.
Yeah.
This is useless to me now.
You're like, okay, cool.
They have
Game. Sorry.
It's true though. It's true. But in the newest gen they added heavy duty boots. It's helped a lot of Pokemon out, or for these weaker types like bug, ice, some flying types carrying it. But it's definitely a direct buff to Charizard in my opinion. Like I think they added it just so Charizard would be more relevant. But what it does is it entry hazards, so things like spikes, toxic spikes, and stealth rock and sticky web do not affect anything that has heavy duty boots on. So basically Charizard comes in and it's as if stealth rock wasn't there. But it's at the sacrifice of an item. But with Gigantamax Charizard anyways, and like the limited amount of Pokemon available, the item it holds isn't really relevant besides heavy duty boots preventing it from taking half its health as it comes in.
Yeah.
So that's why fire types are a little higher now. Like bug types and ice types appreciate heavy duty boots too. It's just that I think fire types less weaknesses mean more for it.
Right.
Yeah. And then dark type, it's lower than it used to be, that's for sure. In Gen 5, I definitely would have had Dark type way higher up with things like Hydreigon, Weavile, Bisharp, and even Liepard running around. Dark type was a wonderful typing, but now with the introduction of Fairy types, it's definitely been weak. Yeah, not weak, but weaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was that? No, that was Steel type. Never mind. But after that, I have Psychic, which I would say is probably in the same vein as Dark and Fire and Rock. Psychic for a while, I think, was a little weaker. Gen 1, it was probably by far the most broken typing there was, because it was just, there was nothing to really counter it at the time. But as it's gone on, it's become a lot more balanced. And recently they've gotten another buff through one of the new moves in the DLC, Expanding Force, which has made Pokemon like Alakazam completely much more relevant than they were before. So Psychic types, like I said, Psychic, Dark, Fire, Rock, Electric, I have them kind of arbitrarily placed. I wouldn't put one of them over the other. It's just we're ranking, not tier listing, right? And so those are just kind of arbitrarily there. After Psychic, I got Fighting type, which I think is a great offensive typing.
Yep.
And it doesn't have the same defensive flaws that I would say the other types have. Like, Fighting's weak to Psychic, Flying, and Fairy. But they're usually fairly bulky. Things like Conkeldurr are extremely powerful. They can take, even like with an Assault Vest, they're basically, they don't care about the Psychic, Flying, and Fairy things that hit them, because they're just so naturally bulky. And so that's why I have Fighting up there. And Fighting also beats Steel, which is probably one of the most useful typings you can have out there. After Fighting, I got Ground, which is the same vein as Fighting types, where it's just a strong attacking type with fewer defensive flaws compared to other counterparts like Rock, Dark, Fire. And after, at 5, I got Water type. Water type, I think, is probably the best type for out of the 3 starting types. The Fire, Water, Grass.
Yeah.
Water is just very strong defensively, being only weak to Electric and Grass. And Grass is a weaker typing, and Electric is basically the only thing that really hits it well. And it's just, bulky water types have been a mainstay in the game for a very, very long time, where one of your main defensive Pokemon generally are a water type that can take a lot of hits and help out a lot with damage. Because like Scald is a move that came out in Gen 5 that burns Pokemon at like a 30% rate or something like that. And it's been one of the best water moves out there. Liquidation came out recently, and it's buffed a lot of physical water types. And so overall, I think water type is just a solid typing to have. It's one of the most common types, but it is a solid typing to have. And at 4, I got Ghost. This is a bit of a hot take. Ghost is generally, people think it's lower, but I think Ghost is an amazing typing because it's got immunity to Fighting and Normal. Normal is a very common attacking type, and so is Fighting. And Ghosts tend to have very strong special stats, and they have a lot of good utility moves, Ghost types. And so I like this, for Ghost type being this high, that's more of a feel thing for me. I wouldn't argue with if anybody put it lower down around the Psychic Fighting type area, around 7 or 8. I would not argue with that. But for me, a feel thing. Do
you run any Ghost Pokemon in your current team?
I run Dragapult. And I think Dragapult got banned too, because it was just such a common Pokemon. Dragapult was one of the most powerful Pokemon in the format before its ban, I think. Right now, one of the most common Ghost types right now is Dusclops. People who aren't really into the competitive scene would think Dusknoir is better, but Dusknoir doesn't do much damage, and neither does Dusclops. And so it's generally better just to run Dusclops with an Eviolite, which just doubles its defenses, and it's just tankier and does the same thing. Right. But it's a wonderful support Pokemon with a lot of great moves like Ally Switch. It's got Trick Room. It's got Nightshade. Not sure if it has Taunt. It has Will-O-Wisp. And so I personally think Ghost type deserves to be a very high ranked type. At 3rd, I have Dragon. Prior to Gen 6, I definitely would have put Dragon at number 1. People some people would rate it lower because it doesn't actually hit anything super effective besides Dragon, but the only thing that resists it is Steel. And so, and now Fairy. But like prior to that, it was a very broken type. And Pokemon, basically you had Dragon typing, it was just inherently better that you had it. So things like Hydreigon were overwhelmingly powerful. Latios was overwhelmingly powerful. Even Dragonite wasn't good prior to wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great prior to Gen 5, but Gen 5 came around and lowered its weaknesses and stuff. And it just got so much better. Haxorus was very strong at one point, and Mega Salamence is super strong. Mega Garchomp was overpowered. It was actually like unbelievably strong when it came out, Garchomp. And so, yeah. And so that's why Fairy, I think, is above Dragon type, because Fairy is the reason Dragon types are weaker now. Like, Fairy types were... People complain about the introduction of Fairy types because they don't seem to like the type. They don't think it was necessary. But at the time, trust me, it was extremely necessary. Fairy types were introduced purely to balance out Dragon types because they were so strong. And so they're immune to dragons, and they're super effective against Dragon and fighting in Dark, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
But the thing is, I think they made Fairy type too strong. That's the thing. So the Pokemon that come to mind are Gardevoir, Mega Gardevoir, Sylveon even.
Yay, I love Sylveon. Such a cutie.
Yeah.
So cute.
And in more recent games, the Tapus. The Tapus were busted.
Oh.
But yeah, the Fairy type, I think, was a good idea to add in. It's just the way they did it, they just made it too powerful. I think if they did something like, made Fairy weak to Bug, like would bring up Bug typing usage, and it would also make
for Bug type. I feel like you do.
Oh, I do. I love Bug types, but this one right now is purely from a balancing standpoint, where Bug is just a really weak typing overall and doesn't have much utility, doesn't have much type effectiveness for something that is so powerful, right? And so Fairy, I think, it's almost better just to be a Fairy type in general. Like, I can think of rarely any drawbacks of being a Fairy type. And my number one typing in the game, competitively, personally, I think, is Steel. Steel is like, if you're a Steel type, it's just better, personally, just to be defensive wise. It's just
better.
It's just better. Like, Steel type is just a great typing defensively and just keeps Pokemon alive. Because if you look at the trends between typings, you can kind of see where the game is trying to lean towards. Like, there's always the exception to the type, the rule, exceptions to the rule when it's coming down to stats for each typing. But like, Electric and Flying tend to be fast, and Steel tends to be really hard to kill, is the idea.
Yep.
And so I personally think Steel type is one of the best types in the competitive scene. If somebody was to put something like Fairy, Water, anything in the top 10 really, like up higher at number 1, I wouldn't disagree. It's just personally, I think Steel is probably the best typing to just have as a Pokemon.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna give a rundown of my faves. I basically just did this based on the best ones, just objectively.
It's not subjective at all.
No, it's completely objective. So Water, because Wartortle, Psyduck, like, just all the best are in Water. You can't change my mind. Ice, because basically Water, but like a little different.
Frozen?
Also, I love like Piplup is like my jam, so
yes.
can't be
I think
mad.
Piplup's just a water type.
Piplup,
Like Empoleon.
Empoleon's Water Steel.
Empoleon Steel. It's okay.
It's okay.
All right. Yeah,
Articuno's Ice. Articuno's Ice. You got that one. You got
That's
that
my
one.
favorite listening bird. Alright, you know what? I'm ignorant, that's okay. So like, well, I guess Water, that just Okay, anyway, water's the best. Ice is Articuno, whatever. Grass. I just like, I don't know, grass has really cute ones, if that makes sense. Like, all the cute seeds are in grass. So then the rest are not irrelevant, but like not as important until we get to the bottom. But you got Ghost, because like, okay, is Gengar Ghost?
Yes.
Now I'm like,
Gengar is a ghost. Gengar is a ghost.
I think it's Ghost Poison.
Ghost poison, yes.
okay, okay, fine, poison. Then got fire, because come on. And dragon. Honestly, like these ones in the middle, I just like chose randomly because we got like dragon, rock, electric, flying, steel. Like I don't have a problem with any of the other types
Until we get to the
except
bottom.
for except for psychic, because for some reason that's my worst one. Because why are all the creepy Pokemon in psychic? Like, can we just talk about Mr. Mime?
Okay. Oh, ew! I hate Drowsy.
Like, who thought Drowsy was a good idea? Like, who?
I like Drowsy.
Ew, no.
No, Drowsy is like whoever decided to put Drowsy in. It's just I don't even know.
I think that's the only Pokemon I recognize for the one day I played Pokemon Go, because they were just all around my house.
Yeah, probably.
By Drowsy. No.
It's just like can't imagine something worse. So all the types are fine. I don't want
Except Psychic.
So Psychic.
Psychic's bad. It's terrible. It's just got like all the creepy Pokemon, and
There's also like a lot of cool ones.
there are, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard because like I like all the types. Like there's none that I'm like, oh, that's a bad type. Well, but like I have to go with Psychic because it's like a high density of creepers. So
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
all right, I'm gonna pass it off to Uni.
Okay. Okay, so my number one's Dragon, obvious reasons. My favorite types are like Pokemon like Garchomp, Noivern.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like all these. The beautiful dragons, right? Second I have Dark, because I like a Mawile, Absol. Cool. Dark types are cool. I think dark types are cool. Yeah. Water. Third is water, and then ice, because I like water and ice. Just like Roxy, right? Five, I have fairy, because there's a few Pokemon I like that are fairy, like that giant cake in the new one. Alchemy,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like a giant cake. It's so cute.
So cute.
I think she's so cute.
Yeah.
And also
There's a lot of
like
good ones.
And like Galarian Ninetales, I'm pretty sure is Ice Fairy, which I love. So it's beautiful. Okay, 6 I have Fire, because fire's cool. 7 I have Electric. I like Toxtricity and like what Luxray? Yeah, Luxray.
Yeah.
Cool, so that's why. 8 I have Psychic, just because there's a few cool Psychic Pokemon. Like, these ones in the middle, they're just there, so yeah. 9 is Ghost, 10 Poison, 11 Grass, 12 Flying, 13 Ground, 14 Fighting, 15 Rock, 16 Steel, 17 Normal. My last one's Bug, just because, like, you know how much I hate bugs in real life.
This is true.
But, like, there's a lot of cool bug types in Pokemon.
Yeah,
so.
but also like no one wants to be a Weedle, so
Yeah, exactly. So that's why Bug is last. I'm sorry, John.
I can't believe it.
You know how much I hate bugs in real life.
And here I have it here at my number one for my favorites.
We'll hear Kitty's first, and then we can hear John's favorites again.
Oh man, well, like I don't know, because I had to go about this because I have no idea. So I went of what I would thought would be the scariest thing to kind of go up against, just in terms of the
Yeah, understandable.
Okay, let's go.
So first I have Dragon, because obvious.
yeah,
hella
that is
scary.
definitely the scariest.
Then I had Steel, because Steel just hurts.
Yeah,
Like,
True.
regardless,
Steel's
it's
pretty
heavy, it's
OP in
hard.
real life.
Yeah, just I can like think about Steel. It's like, oh no,
It's like a full army. Yeah.
Yes.
Oof.
Then we got rocks, because those fall on you, and it's just like, oh no,
I'm dead. Yeah. So cute.
Yeah, and then we have fairies, because I mean that's the D&D background over there. You don't mess with fairies. They're gonna get you.
I was gonna say, I'm like, wait, fairies? Like, go up, like, fairies are cute and, like,
Oh no,
sprinkles.
they might be cute, but they're gonna get you.
Yep.
Then I had fighting because I'm not good at boxing. Then electric because ouch. Ice, which is just like I'm imagining freezer burn on all of me.
Yes.
Nobody wants that.
Fire because fire is just
Yeah.
mean and
Wait.
Burned.
So fire is worse. Okay, I have some confusion, but
have you had freezer burnt food? Like imagine if that was you. Like I would say freezer
Yeah,
burn
that's
worse
fair.
than burn.
That's-
But again, I've never had.
worse than real
Never
burn.
been either, so I can't really comment. But then we got flying because it's just like something about something picking up from the air. I'm imagining like a huge pterodactyl or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that is a Pokemon,
that
so.
Oh no! Then we got ghosts because they're kind of spooky, but
Not spooky as
I'm
fairies,
immortal. Yeah. Water, because drowning is a real thing.
Yes.
but oh gosh, yeah. Damn.
It do be a thing.
Ground, because dirt in your face, like it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Poison was after that because there's a lot of antidotes nowadays. I feel like you get a lot of factors. There's
Not a
fair.
concern.
Fair point.
Normal because I was like it sounds creepy because it's too normal.
It's too devious.
You do.
It just sounds devious.
Dark because at that point it's just darkness.
Yeah.
know.
Dark.
And then I had grass because I don't have allergies, so I don't have to like pollen or anything. Like we're fine. And then last was a bug.
Bug.
At least in Canada, the bugs we have here, they're pretty small and not.
They're
incredibly-
not too terrifying.
And you're not scared
unless
of
you're
me.
yeah, unless you're Eunice, they're not too terrified.
I'm only speaking for Canadian bugs here. I don't mess with anything that's in the desert.
Truth.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, John, you want to rattle off your faves real
Yeah,
quick? I don't
your
want any
Oh.
reasons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So I will give reasons for one. Bug types because I love the bug type Pokemon. I just think they're some of the best designed out there. And then I got and then it's ice, poison, and everything else is just arbitrary until we reach the last one.
Okay.
So
Okay, so ghost, fairy, steel, normal, grass, dragon, water, dark, electric, psychic, ground, fighting, rock, flying, and fire is the worst because I don't have any particular attachment to a fire type Pokemon.
But what about
So
Char?
I don't have an attachment to Charmander. I'm sorry. like I seen that video. I seen that episode was sad and all, but like at the end of the day, I don't have anything like, man, I would die for Charmander kind of thing.
Okay. Fair.
I mean,
man.
fair is a
Alright.
strong word, but
Okay, so just thinking about John's first list and then like our says collectively, I think dragon. I think we could say is pretty high up there.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's pretty well liked type.
Yes.
I think Rayquaza got voted the greatest Pokemon of all time a year or two ago, something like that.
Ooh.
So
I do like that
Not like
Pokemon.
yeah.
So now the hard part is the worst one because I feel like this is
Psychic.
just an internal conflict with John.
Yeah. It can't
Bugs
be
are kind of
bug.
pretty far down.
It can't be bug
like
because
I
of
know.
John. It cannot.
Okay, so like to be fair, like I understand why people don't like bug types because one, they're weak, and two, people don't tend to like bugs all that much. I just have a personal soft spot for bug types. I won't be offended if you guys put that at the bottom. I won't be offended.
But like, it's also your favorite, so like,
Yeah, I don't-
we
I don't-
can't.
But
No, like we have to be able to find one type that we all don't care is at the bottom.
I'm gonna petition you guys against psychics here, okay?
But,
I'm
like,
also realizing I
there's-
didn't put psychics in my list, so
In the list, which means it's automatically worst.
But like, there's a lot of cool psychic Pokemon. Like,
I don't know, man. Like Reuniclus from Gen 5, like Black and White, was one of my favorite Pokemon of all time.
Wait, which
so
one?
like Reuniclus, the little like
Oh,
DNA blob
yeah,
looking
yeah,
one, the
yeah.
mitosis looking ones, yeah.
oh my god, I actually
Pokemon
did
does
that.
not a type make. Like,
Exactly. You gotta think
That's
about
true.
what's dragging the type down, not what's bringing the type up.
See, like the thing is, I don't dislike any of the psychic types personally.
Yeah, I don't like.
Like I get where you're coming from. Like Drowsy looks like it be selling you crack in a back alley, and like Mr. Mime looks like it'd fondle you while you're sleeping.
Other
but
than
like,
those two,
other than those two, like I like psychic type.
there's so
Other than those
cute
two,
ones.
what other type has ones that are that bad?
Like Drifblim steals children away into their death. Shedinja is a ghost type, and if you stare into its soul, into the back of its body, it sucks out your soul. Like I do like ghost types, but like in terms of like creepiness, like I get scared easily. I can't watch horror movies, so like I get scared so easily. I wouldn't put I'm just saying fire types are my lowest. I don't like dislike any type. I'm just saying
threes.
Rock, flying, fire, but like rock and flying are part of that arbitrary list.
Okay.
Yeah, so just
yeah, I have steel, normal, bug, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm saying you guys decide amongst yourselves, because I'm not gonna be offended if you put bug at the bottom, because I'll understand why. I get why bug is at the bottom. I get it. So I'm not gonna be offended if you guys put that there.
Tell you what, I think for a compromise we gotta have a bottom two then. I think we gotta put bug and psychic at the bottom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what? Fine. Only because of Mr. Mime and Drowsy. If you didn't mention those two, I definitely wouldn't put psychic at the bottom.
It's true though.
It's
They're
true.
bringing down the whole pack.
Those two literally brings down every other psychic.
You need to see it, but it's always those two that just bring everyone else down.
Yep.
Oof.
At least we came to a semi-consensus.
Yes.
Semi.
And that's our show for tonight. Thank you, Nonsense Gamers, for joining in on our conversation. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and we will see you next week with new episodes every Saturday. And boop!
Boop.
Boop boop.
That's the goal. There we go.